welcome back to our social studies classes. Hope you all are doing good. Welcome back to our classes today. In this class, let us know about the Peninsular Plateau. You may get a doubt, what is a peninsula? So, this is our country, India. It is surrounded by three water bodies. Towards its west is Arabian Sea. Towards its east is Bay of Bengal. Towards its south is the Indian Ocean. So, peninsula is a piece of land which is surrounded by water on its three sides. So, India is surrounded by Arabian Sea, Indian Ocean, Bay of Bengal. So, it is also considered as a peninsula. How this peninsula is formed? It is formed by the Gondwana land. So, Gondwana land is considered as the oldest landforms in our world. So, other than that, there will be Angar land. This we came to know in our first session. Then, how this landform is formed? It is formed by old crystalline, hard igneous and metamorphic rocks. These are the three sets of rocks which are present in our peninsular plateau. So children, in your 9th class, you have learned about the volcanic eruptions. So when the lava comes out from the volcano, it cools down and it becomes black soil and it takes so many hundreds of years. So here also, due to the volcanic eruption, black soil is formed, and black soil is very good for cotton and so many agricultural practices. And then in this peninsular plateau, we can see so many metallic and non-metallic minerals. So these metallic and non-metallic minerals are located, for example, in Jharkhand. Jharkhand is located in Chota Nagpur plateau, and this plateau is rich in coal and iron deposit. And in our Telangana also, coal is very famous, and Singareni Colonies Company Limited also take care about this coal deposited, and extracting a mineral from the internal or interior of the earth is called mining. The topography is slightly tilted. So you can see here, this is west side and this is east side. So the topography is slightly tilted like this, so that the rivers like Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, Mahanadi, these rivers drains into the Bay of Bengal. So this is the Godavari river, Krishna river, Kaveri river. These rivers, as the topography is slightly tilted like this, so these rivers originate from Western Ghats and merges into Bay of Bengal. And the peninsular plateau is divided into two parts. So this is the peninsular plateau, it is divided into two parts. This one is the Malwa plateau, and this part is the Deccan plateau. So the plateaus are divided into two. One is Malwa plateau and the second one is Deccan plateau. Malwa plateau. This Malwa plateau is also known as Central Highlands. And it is located south of Indo-Gangetic Plains. Here you can see. So this is Indo-Gangetic Plain. This part is Indo-Gangetic Plains. So this is Malwa plateau. And this is Deccan plateau. So it is located south to Indo-Gangetic Plain. And again, northwest side is Aravalli. See, this is the northwest side. This side are the Aravalli mountains. So in the first section, we came to know that towards the Libya side of Aravalli, Thar desert is located. So this is Aravalli mountains which are located. Then south side, Vindhya mountains. So this is the south side. Here the Vindhya mountains are located. It is Vindhya. And again towards the east side, the Chota Nagpur plateau. This This is the east side. Here Chota Nagpur plateau is located. And this Chota Nagpur plateau is very important. Why? Because it is very rich in the mineral deposits. And it is also called the heart of our country, India. Why? Because in its heart there are so many minerals which are used in our day-to-day lives. Then towards the Chota Nagpur plateau, mines, steel factories are located. This is all about the Central Highlands or the Malwa Plateau, which is located towards the south of the Indo-Gangetic Plain. Towards its northeast is located the Aravalli Mountains. Towards its east is the Chota Nagpur Plateau. Towards its south is the Vindhya Mountains. The next plateau is the Deccan Plateau. See, this is Deccan Plateau. Towards the north of this Deccan Plateau is Satpura Ranges. So there will be a river called Tapi River or Tapati River, like this. And most of the rivers in the peninsular India will have west to east flow. Why? Because just now I have told you that the topography is slightly tilted towards the east side. So like this, the slope will be like this. So most of the river originates here and merges this side. But Tapati River, Narmada River, it will have east to west flow. So the north side of the Deccan Plateau is the Vindhya Ranges, Satpura Ranges. Satpura Ranges. And towards the west side is the Western Ghats, like this. Towards the west side is the Western Ghats. And towards the east side are the Eastern Ghats, like this. So these are Western Ghats, these are Eastern Ghats. And the eastern edges, so this side, so these eastern edges have Maikal Range, Mahadev Range and Kaimur Range. Here we can see Maikal Range, Mahadev Range and Kaimur Range. Like this there will be three ranges. And it composed of hard igneous rocks, so that there is less irrigation facilities. And also the rivers will have non-continuous flow. Why? Because these are non-perennial rivers. So what is the meaning of this word perennial? Perennial means which has, or the river which has a continuous flow. So the peninsular rivers are non-perennial rivers. The rivers do not have any continuous flow. So they do not flow 24/7, 365 days. Due to these rivers are the rain-fed rivers. During the rainy season only, the rivers will be full with water. And the farmers should depend upon bore wells or tube wells for the second crop. And again, it is very rich in the minerals like coal, iron, aluminium, graphite and so on. And here you can see, children, these are the continuous. Western Ghats are continuous and Eastern Ghats are non-continuous. The southernmost tip of our country, here the southernmost tip of our country is Kanyakumari. So this Kanyakumari is the southernmost tip and the three water bodies joined here. So it is considered as the southernmost tip of our country. So this is about the Deccan Plateau. Our next topic is Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats. To simplify it, I wrote it in a tabular form. You can see here. So these are the Western Ghats and these are the Eastern Ghats. So these Eastern Ghats are towards the east side. So this side, Eastern Ghats are located towards the east side. Western Ghats are located towards the west side. Next point is parallel to the west coast. This is the coastline. This is the west coastline and this is the east coastline. So these Western Ghats are parallel to the west coast. The Eastern Ghats are parallel to the east coast. Then it stretches from Maharashtra to Kerala. So the Western Ghats stretches from Maharashtra to Kerala, from here to here. The Eastern Ghats stretches from Odisha to Tamil Nadu. In Odisha, from now Mahanadi to Tamil Nadu, these Eastern Ghats stretches. And again, these Western Ghats are higher than the Eastern Ghats. And these Eastern Ghats are lesser than the Western Ghats. And the average height of these Western Ghats are 2000 meters. The average height of these Eastern Ghats are 900 meters. And children, these Western Ghats are continuous. They don't have any breaks. They are continuous chain of mountains. But these Eastern Ghats have breaks in between. These are non-continuous. Why? Why? Because of the rivers. So the rivers will cut this thing. They cut these mountains and drain into Bay of Bengal. So that they are non-continuous. The rivers like Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, Penna, Tungabhadra, all its tributaries drain into or merges into Bay of Bengal. Again they will have west to east flow from the mountains of Western Ghats to the Bay of Bengal. There are also some important hills like Cardamom Hills. So Cardamom Hills are located in Kerala. So in Kerala, these hills are called as Cardamom Hills, which are located towards the west coast in Western Ghats. And Palani Hills, which are located in Tamil Nadu. Here, Palani Hills are located in towards the east coast in the Eastern Ghats, which is located in Tamil Nadu. Other than Palani, Palakondas, Velikondas, Neelagiris, and Neelagiris are very important. And Seshachalam Hills. You might have gone to Tirupati. Tirupati Devasthanam is located in these Seshachalam Hills, and different kinds of woods like sandalwood, red sandalwood, rosewood are located in these Seshachalam Hills. And the highest peak in this Western Ghats is Dodabetta, which are located in the Neelagiris. And the highest peak in the Eastern Ghats is Oravakonda, which is located in Chintalpalli, which is in Andhra Pradesh. And the highest peak in the South India or highest peak in the peninsular India is located in Annamalai Hills, and which is named as Anaimudi. Okay, Oravakonda is located in Andhra Pradesh. And again, these Western Ghats have much rainfall due to the mountains. There are chains of mountains. These Western Ghats receive more rainfall, and these mountains are non-continuous in the Eastern Ghats, so they don't receive much rainfall. And you can see, children, this is a place which is between the coast and the Ghats. So this is called plains. This is called plains. This side it is called Eastern Ghats, and this side it is called, this side it is called Eastern Plains, and this side it is called as Western Plains. So these are the 10 points. Let us recollect the 10 points again. Western Ghats are located towards the west coast. Eastern Ghats are located towards the east coast. Western Ghats are continuous. These are non-continuous. The average height of Western Ghats is 2000 meters. The average height of Eastern Ghats is 900 meters. Western Ghats stretches from Maharashtra to Kerala. Eastern Ghats stretches from Odisha, Mahanadi to Tamil Nadu. There are so many hills like Cardamom Hills, which are located in Kerala, which is in the Western Ghats. And other than that, Annamalai Hills. So there is a special feature in Annamalai Hills. The highest peak of South India, Anaimudi, is located in the Western Ghats. Other than that, the highest peak of Western Ghats is Dodabetta, which is located in Neelagiris. The highest peak in Eastern Ghats is Oravakonda, which is located in Chintalpalli, Andhra Pradesh. Other than that, there are Velikondas, Palakondas, Seshachalam Hills located in the Eastern Ghats. So there is a place where Neelagiris meet, which is called Gudaluru. The famous hill station Ooty is located, and Udagamandalam is the old name of Ooty. This is about the 10 points of Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats. It is very important in the exam point of view. In spite of so many times, we will get confused regarding the highest peaks. The highest peak in the world is Mount Everest. The average height of the Mount Everest is 8,848 meters. The second highest is the K2 peak, which has 8,611 meters, and it is located in the POK, present day Pak occupied Kashmir. The third highest peak is Kanchenjunga or Kanchenjunga, which is located in Sikkim, and the average height is 8,598 meters. And then the highest peak in Western Ghats is Dodabetta. The highest peak in Eastern Ghats is Auravakonda. The highest peak of South India is Anemudi. So these are the information regarding the highest peaks. Hope you all understood this topic of the Peninsular Plateau. Next topic let us discuss in the next session. Thank you.